Hey everybody, welcome to Going Public, right here on Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here, talking with Wendell Curall today, South Lafourche Levee District Chairman. And thanks for being here, man, and appreciate it. We got some amazing photos, and I guess the name of your presentation, without flood control, nothing else matters. We did pretty good flood control wise. We took a pretty good kicking from the wind, no? Huh?
Yeah, but you look at it, and the wind misses some people sometimes. But when you get the flood, it doesn't miss anybody.
Right.
And in South Lafourche, we had with all the buildings that were knocked down, and nobody died, which is fantastic.
Right.
But if we had water that ran up against our levee system up to 17 feet, 12 feet in most areas, but they had some run up, and if that water had gotten inside, we would have lost a lot of people. And I say the wind can kill a few people. When you get a storm surge into a community, you start losing hundreds of people. And that was a possibility. And really, too many people say you have a Category 4 hurricane, and they predict it to be a Category 4. Now, you can't tell for sure if it's going to affect you as a 4 or not, because we're just not good enough on where it's going to get you or not. But if there's a chance that a powerful storm is going to get to you, even though we've had success, we haven't flooded since 1985, all right? And we closed the system in 93 and haven't had any flooding. But when you get a powerful storm, you can't guarantee anything. And this storm was more powerful than what we were built to stand. We were basically designed for a strong 2 or a weak 3. This was a strong 4. And maybe in the end, it might end up being a 5. People should not have stayed. And we were right on the edge of some, we got overtopped in a couple of places. Luckily, no building flooded, no business, no house. We did have a sugarcane field that did get some water in it. That's it. So we were very fortunate. But we could have had a little bit more storm. We could have had something clip the top of the levee, and you would end up with 7, 8 feet of water in people's houses. I guarantee you we would have lost a lot of people.
Well, and then if we'd had people trying to get on their roofs in this storm, you might no telling what would have happened. So
again, and that's what typically you see when you get a flood event. That's why you lose hundreds of people, because you're fighting the wind, you're fighting the water, you're fighting, everything around you, and you don't know. And how can you not panic a little bit?
Right.
And you got to worry about your kids, and you got to worry about. It's just not a smart thing to do when there's a powerful storm.
Yeah, no. This was wild, and we're going to take a look at some pictures and what you got here. Amazing when you take a look at the debris line, and so you can tell what kind of pressure was on your levee, right?
Well, the first tour I took of the levee, I just couldn't believe the water was so high in so many places. About a 48-mile system, a third of it seemed like the water, from the numbers that I've seen so far, was within a foot or overtopping. We had, again, 4 places we had some overtopping, and again, a third of the levee system was within a foot of being over the top. And we were just so fortunate that we didn't have major flooding.
Yeah, really amazing. And look, we here in Houma, we get the north wind. You guys got the south wind, and it almost went right up. It went right up the parish line. So it's almost 2 different storms, but obviously destruction.
But both powerful.
Both sides.
Okay. And look, but the one thing that was common is that we all suffered from the wind damage. It was terrible. Okay. The issue with the water, though, we got more water in the south than from the north. And so we had that water coming up and consistently pushing, and then it slowed down a little bit, and then it turns, kind of pivots right around Lockport. We were in the eye wall. We never got into the eye. We were in the eye wall at least 3 hours, and maybe 4, even to 5 hours. And so we took all this heavy wind at different angles of the levee system. That's why we had so much high water around it. We had a solid 12-foot surge, maybe 14, and wave action on top of that brought, again, some places against the levee, we marked a debris line of 17 feet. We're going to look at a few of those pictures.
Right, and thank goodness you guys have kept building whenever you can, right?
Elevation is a salvation to inundation, right? Oh, look, but it was scary. I tell you, I just told people we were either going to be lucky and barely not flood, which is what happened, or we might have been been unlucky, and we would have flooded, but it would have been barely. Once you flood, it would have been a big time because of a breach. And again, with good fortune, we didn't have that.
Unfortunately, we know too much about that watching Katrina and watching a breach of a flood wall, T-wall there. So what are we looking at now?
Well, this is just to show outside the system. Our levee is just to the south of this, and this is a boat launch at Cloverly. And you see this, there's boat launch, there's boat houses, there's a camp, and you can see marsh around the area, okay?
So this is the before.
This is the before, okay? Next slide is the after.
Holy smokes.
I mean, just wiped out everything. I mean, look, it's a rare thing to have 130 mile an hour consistent wind.
Right.
And hang around like it did. And it tore up everything. It tore up the marsh, it tore up houses, it tore up trees. You know, we got out at 8 at night when we started fighting it. And the wind was blowing really hard. We were pushing with our arms and our legs and just to get out the door against that wind. But when the day broke, and I saw the oak trees around, it reminded me. I went to Waverly, Mississippi, right after Katrina, and I saw how bad those trees looked, and that's what it reminded me of. Or these pictures they just showed. Well, that's debris on the levee, and that right there, that's a crown of the levee. The debris on the top, the wave action was hitting right at the corner of the crown, and that's damage on the levee. We were like in a heavyweight fight.
Right.
Well, actually, the Storm was the heavyweight, and we were the welterweight. Okay, but we won. Okay, but this view right here is good view. The top of the levee is up there. I'm thinking the water got to about a 12, and that's wave action, took out all of the grass and took divots and bites out of the levee. I've never seen that before. I've seen some damage from, here's a good shot of erosion on the outside of the levee.
That tree was there before?
No. Oh, no.
They brought the tree.
No, yeah,
and
we
stuck
had,
it in there.
Look, we had trees. We almost had, neighborhoods up against the levee. I mean, we had, I know, I got an actual serious call. A guy said, "Have you seen my camp?" Okay, because his neighbor's camp was up against the levee. But no, we never did find his camp. But no, with a storm like that, you see things you've never seen before. And I've seen some storms where it damaged the grass a little bit right at the wave breaking line. But here it took all the grass out and started eating into the levee.
So you might have a tree, you might have a boat.
This is a great shot. Okay, this is the levee, 3235 in Golden Meadows, right up against this levee. This is when you pass the park and you're heading out. You see this the high levee there. That's it. That's a 17-foot elevation, the top. All right. To the right, you see a transform and the tops of houses and trailers. That boat is up there, and it's at 16 feet.
Wow.
Okay. 16 feet up, the water got up on the levee.
We're talking about debris, and well, maybe explain what this is.
Well, that's our pump station, and the sheet metal got blown. Everything we had sheet metal on pretty much got blown through. You can see, this is the opposite side. We just had tremendous damage on our buildings. Yet, I want to say again, our workers, they it causes problems when you don't when the rain starts coming in. They build a little temporary protection of the equipment inside, and we were basically, the storm was a Sunday, Monday storm. And by Thursday, we had all of our systems were functioning. Now, they weren't functioning normally because our guys had to do extra work because we had that damage. But our guys got everything working back so that we had water levels back to normal by Thursday. We were ready to get traffic to go through the bayou with the floodgates and the locks. But so many boats had sunk in the bayou that the Coast Guard didn't open the bayou for 3 weeks before they let traffic through. But we were ready. We manned it. We were ready to pass. In fact, we had to get some of the Coast Guard boats and the Navy boats, and Army boats actually, Corps of Engineers boats through.
Right. So they have to do that as well. We talked about debris line, and I told you I knew some people in Bay St. Louis, and the debris line was about a mile up from the coast, and it centered around a railroad track that would kind of stop some of that debris line, but everything ended up there. Everything ended up against your levee here,
Absolutely.
Right? So,
1 million, the estimates, these are guys who do this kind of business. They estimated 1 million cubic yards of debris, the most they've seen. They were at Katrina. They would Rita, and on this again, some more damage on the edge of the part of the crown. The wave action was breaking, and broke through the grass and started eating up on the levee. So we were damaged again, just like you see the heavyweight fights where the loser has to go to the hospital, and then you find out the winner has to go to the hospital. Right. Well, we won, but we have to do some repairs. This is at the lock. We had goby mats, those concrete mats over the dirt. and we had really compacted the dirt, and that storm ate through all of that and got to the sheet pile. So that's the damage done. Now, everything is still working. If we had a storm today, it would hold the water, but it wouldn't hold against a storm like that because it would keep on eating and causing problems. So right now, our job is get the debris off the levee, and we already started repairing where we have the debris off. But we got to keep on getting all the debris off because you need every square inch of that levee to work properly to keep storm surge out.
Right.
You know, just like a boat, you need everything that might see the water. You got to make sure it works properly.
Sure. And where do you find materials to clean on? And like I say, first of all, is to clean it and then to repair it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, a lot of the marsh that we saw at a couple of places was not flow-torn marsh. This was rooted marsh. So that marsh has a lot of real soil in it. And those, you know, we're going to try to burn most of the regular marsh, but where we have really very deep-rooted marsh grass, we're trying to move it on the inside the levee and stack it, let it oxidize, have the organics just fall out of it, and then work the dirt back into the levee. That's one way to do it. But no, we had to go to a contractor. We've never done that before. We've always handled the debris, and we've never had a contract, never had this kind of debris before.
Right.
So
how many miles
well,
we're looking at?
Heavily debris of the 48 miles, we probably have a third heavy debris, another 1/3 with medium, and the other is light where we probably can get through with our tractors. But I don't know if we got through the pictures, but there is some, let's take a look.
Well,
at
we're going to take a break.
Okay.
And
All
we're going to take a break. When we come back, we save some of those pictures for the other side. Remarkable pictures and a task that's pretty big. So we'll take a break. We'll be right back with more Going Public right after this.
A new company with a lot of history. GIS Engineering has rapidly grown its brand around an experienced team of professionals. GIS Engineering is a full-service planning, engineering, procurement, and construction management company specializing in coastal protection and restoration, upstream and downstream industrial, and transportation infrastructure projects. Putting people first, GIS Engineering, a new company with a lot of history.
In South Louisiana, storms are a way of life. Every storm poses a different threat, whether from flooding or hurricane-force winds. At All South Consulting Engineers, we help protect our people from these disasters. Before a storm, we work with our leaders to prevent catastrophic damage. After the storm, we help get the resources needed for rebuilding. We have helped our cities, parishes, and school boards recover over $2 billion to rebuild our community. We'll be here for the next one.
Cardiovascular Institute of the South's Ambulatory Surgery Center offers patients advanced and innovative outpatient procedures using the latest technology and treatment options. The first of its kind in the region, this center provides our patients and their families with high-quality care in a convenient, comfortable, and safe environment at a lower cost. Trust your care to the cardiovascular care team you know and love at CIS. Learn more at cardio.com.
A new company with a lot of history. GIS Engineering has rapidly grown its brand around an experienced team of professionals. GIS Engineering is a full-service planning, engineering, procurement, and construction management company specializing in coastal protection and restoration, upstream and downstream industrial, and transportation infrastructure projects. Putting people first, GIS Engineering, a new company with a lot of history.
everybody, welcome back into Going Public. I'm Harry McCullough. We're joined by Wendell Curell, the South Lafourche Levee District. We've been looking at some amazing photographs. We talked a little bit about debris line, something these guys have never seen that are in charge. The levee held out good, but like I said, Ali Frazier, both of those guys end up going to the hospital, right?
And we need some repairs. I mean, it took some soil away, some erosion on the backside. That overtopping, but it also, when you get water to the top of your levee, you have maximum force. And if it's overtopping, it's actually weakening it at the backside. And to know that water went over long enough to pond some water in the sugarcane field told me that the levees are in pretty good shape to be able to handle full force and some weakness on the backside.
Right.
That was actually, our methods are a little bit different. We're using, as far as when I say a levee and earthen structure, we're using the standards pre-Katrina because we believe that levees, earthen things, did not do poorly for Katrina, where some of the reports said that the levees did poorly. Now, what did do poorly were the eye walls. And we saw the changes the Corps made, and we embraced them 100%. We do these A-frame behind the eye walls, and they perform perfectly for us. So the levees did well, the eye walls did well. We had, you can't test it any stronger than it was tested by that storm. And they did well.
So most of the outlying areas are earthen levees, and more in town is more you got the T-walls?
Well, it's wherever you're squeezed for right-of-way. We have some T-walls when the levee got, when there's like a pump station sometimes. We were stuck between the community and if I can lock in LaRose, for example.
Right.
On the east side, the community was built all the way to the intercoastal. So there's no way you could build a levee and include them. So we had to put a wall there.
Right.
And that served them very well. Right across the intercoastal, you had a 7-foot wall that wasn't high enough. Our 13-foot wall kept the water out from those people.
I got you. Yeah, we talked about debris line, and this is by one of your pump stations as we go back to the photographs. And, man, you can see what we're talking about.
And the other thing, you look in there, that's our Borough Canal. The gold stuff is the debris. Then the top of the levee is right around, I think, about a 17 in that area. Then you see the park in Golden Meadow. The 4-lane highway in that picture
Right. Yeah, you
is
can see it.
2.4 feet below sea level.
Right.
Okay?
Oh, okay.
So it's 2.4 feet below sea level, and the water outside the levee
road
got
is
close
2.4?
to, yes. And you don't know it because the levee works. Remember, we're bringing a 21-foot elevation from Fouchon. Right. It's going to come down on that, not far from that spot on that road. So that 21 feet is coming down to minus 2.4.
Wow.
Yet it all works because the levee works. Right. And that's looking north from Golden Meadow, and you can see that debris line. Again, they estimate 1 million cubic yards of debris on the levee, more than these people who done Katrina.
You said that some of that you're just going to scrape up and burn, or
well, we're going to separate the plastics and the other
Right.
things from it, and then just organics, and we're going to burn. Now, when there's a lot of soil in some marshes, we'll just try to get it to oxidize and
but you
just
won't truck that out anywhere.
No, but that's the original plan, and that was $25 a cubic yard. It cost me $4 to make the levee, and it cost me $25 to get the debris off of it. That's kind of crazy. So we've worked with the contractors, and now we're going to just separate and then just bring out the bad stuff, the plastics and those types of things, and then we're going to burn. And so we're going to save millions of dollars, and instead of $25 a cubic yard, we'll be spending maybe $11 a cubic yard.
It's too bad we can't use sheetrock and sheet metal and all that stuff. Just pile it up. We'd have a 100-foot levee, right?
Talk about a levee. That's right. That's right.
If we could just do that. But yeah, so let's continue on with some.
Yeah, again, that's our pump station. You can notice the roof is off, maybe.
Yeah.
But our people make it work. And then there's the debris about 6 feet from the top of the levee. That's an alligator farm right behind. But we kept, again, no problems for that $1 million operation right behind the levee. Next slide.
That's what you were talking about now. These are the T-walls you're talking about.
Now, this is LaRose. We're looking toward Homer. We're on the east side of the Bayou Lafourche Ridge. That's our levee on the left. There's a road on the outside of our levee, and then we have a wall that crosses to the intercoastal and protects the community up there. And then you see that black stuff, that's the mud that flooded on both sides of the intercoastal, but we kept it out of the levee side.
I mean, it's a stark contrast, right?
Yep. You look
Between
at
what's
what's
on
green
the
and
inside.
what's dark, and you look north of the coastal, and that's the area that flooded near the shipyard and the Hampton Street area. And they were building and raising the levee in that area. Had they completed, there's a chance they might have minimized or maybe kept the water out of people's houses. But you just got to keep on improving. The places we were overtopped, we had contractors on site working, and we were just a little bit too late. But there was one place we had just finished raising the levee by 3 feet. We were overtopped, but didn't lose the levee. And but had we not raised it 3 feet, there's a good chance 3 feet you're going to have a breach. You know, I mean, we just got really the critical path of that storm. Never got out of the eye wall. You know, when you're in the eye, you get a break and you get just that cross section as it goes across. But when you again, just to the right of a storm, a powerful storm.
That's the worst spot.
That's the worst spot for water and for wind. And we got the worst of both. So but again, that wind was powerful. Okay, this is it. That's marsh grass 4 feet thick on the levee. Okay, look at that thing. That's marsh grass. And we have to get it off the levee because if we leave it, you say, well, just leave it there. Well, it's not compacted. So storm water is going to eat that grass on the outside, and then you're going to have ungrassed levee behind it. So we take this off. We want to get good grass growth on solid compacted material. And that's what makes a strong levee. So we got a ton of that stuff we have to push out of the system.
You say right now we're okay right now, but next year will you have most of this?
That's I need to do some corrections for next year. This shot.
We'll go back to it.
Yeah, well, that shot. Okay, that's Superior Dock. Now look at that open water. That's a 12-foot deep borough canal, and that's Superior Canal to the right. Now the next shot is from the dock itself. Okay, next slide. That's before the storm. This is after the storm. Ooh. That whole canal, 12 feet deep, is full of marsh grass. Superior Canal just has a
that's not lilies. That's marsh grass.
That's marsh grass, solid all the way to the bottom. There's a couple of boats that are stuck there. You see that. That's just to the outside of that brown area is a 12-foot deep canal, but it's not 12 feet deep. It's full of marsh grass. I mean, this storm, 130 miles an hour. That's 10 feet high of marsh grass that's stacked up right here.
So this is what you're trying to do is
we got to get it off so we can clear that. We got mud now. We don't have grass anymore on the good part of our levee. So we have to get that stuff off, start throwing seeds, and try to get that grass growing by next hurricane season for sure.
Right.
And again, that's the area that the impact of the waves took the grass out. And again, we're gonna have to go back and some places put some dirt in, and other places I throw seeds right after.
Isn't it? It's incredible how much stuff comes.
Look how open this is. Yeah. See how open this is from this end?
Again, before.
Okay, this is before, not the next slide. Same, and that's completely full all the way to the bottom of a 12-foot canal.
Is that boat?
Yeah, that's a couple of boats stuck in there. They can't get out. It's too thick. They can't even. It's solid marsh grass. They can't get out.
We're building land.
That's but we took it away from where it used to be. Now this is the overtopping at Cloverly.
Right.
Okay. But
this
you're looking at this is the inside the levee. Now we hadn't shaped the inside yet because we were building it, but it went on the top, and all this brown stuff is what flowed over the levee, and water got through, and again that's where the ponding took place in the sugarcane field. So all of that is marsh grass that got over. And we hadn't compacted the dirt on the inside, hadn't even shaped it. There was no grass. We're lucky we didn't get a breach right there. There was a one bad spot that the cut got all the way to the crown, but the crown was still about 8 feet thick, so it wasn't on the verge of giving way. But had that water continued for another couple of hours, it could have got a breach.
But doing the forensics of it, that's how you know that it went over the top when you see pounding like that.
Yeah. Well, now some of the debris that got over the top, we thought there was some overtopping, but in a lot of places, that wind's more than 130 miles an hour.
Right.
So you have these big waves, they're coming in and lifting that debris, and then you have a 130 mile an hour wind taking the debris and pushing it on the other side. So there's some places, we saw the debris on the other side, said, oh man, it overtopped, and then you go back and look, and you say, well, yeah, but there's some wave action here, but not here. So that looks like it was a wind event.
Right.
Now, the waves are pushing stuff up. The wind's blowing here. Now, if the wave is below the levee, the wind starts doing this, but then the wind on the top is doing this. So we saw some places the debris was stacked perfectly on top of the levee. It looked like someone had taken a bulldozer and put it there, but it was the wind pushing up, and then the straight line of wind flattened it right on top.
So how do we start? Do you have to go through all of the government regulations to start doing all your work? Is there insurance for this? How does that all work?
Well, there are a couple of things. First, we are a Corps project, and there's a program to repair Corps levees. But because we haven't built to the standards that the Corps wants, we're out of the program. So FEMA has come in and they are going to help us take care of the debris on the levee and the repairs on the levee. So that's the way we're going to try to go after it. Same way, now in Terrebonne, the FEMA's helping Terrebonne with its levees, and throughout South Louisiana where there's some problems, they're getting some help. But that's what we're doing. But, you know, you have to go ahead and get quotes. You got to, you know, there's a faster process, but you still have to do a legal process to make sure you get the best price you can for the
Sure.
taxpayer.
Yeah, but there's funds there. You don't have to do it all over again. Like
Right. Well, at the beginning, FEMA was paying 100% of this debris, and we tried to hurry and get the most we could, but it was such a complicated thing. This wasn't done really efficiently. Only last week, and when we finally got everybody to agree, look, guys, we're going to separate the bad stuff from the organics, and we're going to leave the organics and burn where we can, and then let the others oxidize. I didn't feel comfortable about the plan till the end of last week.
Right.
So we went through all these days trying to figure out how to do it. We broke bridges, I mean, Waskey bridges are concrete.
Right.
Some of these trucks fell through. We had other bridges that we had all kinds of problems with the access roads, and it was raining at the time. So we were spending as much time and effort on repairing the damage of trying to take the debris off.
Right.
And the levee got damaged by taking the debris off. So
Right.
once we get that all off, now we got to go fix the damage from the storm and also the damage from the cleaning of the debris on the levee. So
Oh,
we have a
you
challenge
got your
ahead
work
of
cut
us.
out for you for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Wendell, appreciate the update. Appreciate the pictures, man. It was amazing.
But we've been lucky. Again, we did flood, and it's only because we had the local people voted the taxes for us. Our employees work real hard. We've had board members that do the right thing. Only one thing in mind, keep flood out of homes and businesses. We've been very fortunate. Our elected officials have appointed good people on our boards.
All right, Wendell Curall, thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. That's Going Public. We'll see you next time right here on Bayou Time.